The Spiral, How to Drill It Out. Married my high school sweetheart 22 years ago and we recently moved to Virginia. Our oldest daughter is a senior in college and recently married in May and stayed in Alabama. Our youngest made the move to Virginia with us. My wife and I have gone through a lot the past 3 years, her father passing in 2010. My mother passed in 2011 and my father recently passed away in 2012. She started therapy in Virginia, and while I know that she has not been truly happy, long story of her childhood, I thought we were doing fine. She met someone at a bar. He's an older guy, a 2-time divorced car salesman who lives in a modified basement apartment of someone's house. He claims to be an ex-NFL player. I called the STBXs, they have never heard of him. And even claims to be an ex-bodyguard. Sound too good to be true. To everyone but my wife. She tells me that she loves me but is not in love with me anymore. I catch her talking to this guy constantly. Facebook, text messages, phone messages. She's not very smart. When I come back from a trip in Nov, she tells me that she needs to talk and wants a separation. While we are talking upstairs, our daughter picks up her phone and finds all the sordid dirty sexting messages. My daughter brings me the phone and shows me. I actually try to cover for my wife, but my daughter also shows me pictures. Needless to say, my wife left that night. So, I still want to make it work. I love her. We go to MC, and she tells the counselor that she does not want the marriage. I ask her to do the 40-day love dare and not contact this guy. She agrees, but on Thanksgiving I catch her talking to this guy. I pick up the phone and threaten him. I want to beat the crap out of this guy so bad I can't see straight. But I know I'll lose my job and my daughter, who has said that wants to live with me. We agree to a divorce on the 28th of November. Now here is where it gets messy. I can't stop wanting to hurt this guy and make him hurt worse than I am hurting. I can't sleep, I can't eat, I can't concentrate. Even her own siblings are telling me that I'm better off, but I still love her. How do I move on? She has said the cruelest things to me. I never satisfied her sexually, emotionally, and I was always so selfish. She does not even see the carnage she has done to the family. I feel hopeless. I am beyond sad. I'm angry. I want vengeance. She moved in with other men on December 20th, 13. Update as of the 3rd of February. I'm still angry. But my need for vengeance is not as strong. I've accepted the fact that we are done, and I would never take her back. While she has not wanted to reconcile, she has called a few times complaining that she can't find a job, and wanted me to tutor her with chemistry. My undergrad degree was chemistry, and that while she loves this new guy, all 4 months they have known each other, that he works all the time and she has to eat by herself. I have essentially ignored her texts, phone calls. She is close to signing the property settlement agreement. The biggest fight was over the fact that our daughter will not be staying nights at OM's basement, and my daughter will choose when she wants to meet him. It's getting better though, and I love the distraction. I have also booked a Club Med singles vacation this June. My fog is lifting from codependency issues and I'm hoping the karma bus is coming for them soon. She definitely did it the wrong way. Both of our daughters have essentially ostracized her and will hang up on her if she mentions his name. It's a hard road. I'm in anger management that I see. Plus, I have read Letting Go, the 12 Steps. No More Mr. Nice Guy, and Life After Divorce, plus all the blogs on here. It's all helping, but I'm not there yet. I was with this woman for 24 years. STBX is at my house after picking up our daughter from school. She's complaining that she's not understanding her chemistry class. My major was chemistry. And she is in tutoring and study groups. I cordially wish her the best and walk upstairs to change for the gym. She follows me and asks if she could have her toy back. I told her I threw all that stuff away and asked her why did she need that stuff anyway. She gets angry and said I had no right in throwing it away without asking. I told her that I didn't think she needed that any more than walked out the door to go to the gym. Score 1 for the good guys. I get a text from STBX telling me that I was the one that pushed her away. How manipulative I was. How untrusting I was. I thought this was funny given the fact that she has had 2 affairs, and that she had considered coming back. The view is great, but I often catch myself diving down to do a little low level. Then I feel like crap and wished I would have stayed at 50,000 because it only gives her power. I know she has borderline personality disorder sprinkled with a narcissistic attitude. I've always known she was somewhat narcissistic, but the past 8 years or so has been rough. I suppose the breast augmentation she had went to her head. So much for cool, calm, and collected. When I get home, OM's car is in the driveway. I was ready to X him, when my STBX tells me that he took the car to get the headlights fixed, cleaned, and windshield wipers replaced. I lost it and started yelling. Duck me, 2 steps forward, 5 steps back. I want to text OM and tell him that he's playing a good house husband, but she's already complaining about his working hours and she's not satisfied because she needs her toys back. Someone hold me off the ledge. So, after a sleepless night with a lot of regret about yesterday, I have picked myself back up. I thought about putting the whole sordid story on Facebook, but most of the friend and family know already. I'm hoping that the settlement agreement is signed today or early next week. She had the audacity to tell me yesterday that I should be thanking her for keeping our daughters with me this long, and she had been a good friend supporting me. After talking to OM last night, he said he will not allow anyone to disrespect her anymore. I told him she's my wife still, but she's your B. I also told him not to call or text me again. Instead, show up like a man and say it to my face. My STBX signed the separation agreement. I stopped spousal support on the 1st of January 15 and can file for divorce in NOV, thanks to VA for being a state that requires a year separation. I could file on fault grounds now, but the courts are backed up and it will take 7 to 12 months anyways and will cost $10,000. Maybe it's worth it. I waived her paying child support and she gets half of my retirement and gets free medical for life. I'm not retiring for another 10 years now. I'll make her wait. My STBX asked yesterday if she could wash her laundry at my house while she visited with our daughter. I find it interesting that her OM doesn't own a washer and dryer. But I digress. I told her that she could. When she gets back, I'm ready to walk out the door with my new clothes. She says, "That's a nice shirt, where are you going?" I told her out with friends. She says with a snide look, "You never go out with friends. Is it friends from your little support group?" I said no, but I have made friends from the support group. She said, "I know you're seeing someone. I wish you would just be honest and tell me." I told her that I wasn't seeing anyone, and even if I was, why would it matter? She says, "If the girls see that you're moving on with someone else, they won't be as angry with me." I told her that's her problem. She doesn't see that her level of betrayal is the reason that the girls are angry, not the fact that she wanted a divorce. She said, "That's your problem. You never saw how unhappy I was and that drove me to what I did." I told her I was late and to have a good night. I heard her still talking when I closed the door. A call last night taking the power back. My STBX told our daughter that even though we're not together any longer, we could still be friends. My daughter asked her if she actually hears what she says. My girl is thankfully smarter than my STBX. Her sense of entitlement and her lack of remorse is unbelievable. A little humor. My 16-year-old daughter drove to school for the first time yesterday. The school sold out of parking passes, but a few unmarked spots are first come first serve. I get text at 3 yesterday from her saying that they towed her car and she rode the bus home because my STBX was too far away at OM's basement apartment. Thank God I've been taking anger management. I tell her I'm on my way. I pick her up and go to the school to get the number to towing company. Lo and behold, her car is in the parking lot. She looks at me and says, "Hey, my car's back." I look at her and tell her that it never left. I send her a picture of the guys from the movie. "Dude, where's my car?" My daughter is refusing to see a counselor, but I finally convinced her to go with me on my next one just to appease me. Hopefully the therapist will persuade her to continue. 3. I would essentially throw 20 years of service away just to satisfy my perceived need as a man to beat the crap out of him. I know they don't deserve it, but it's hard not to think about it. I've reversed strategy now that the PSA is signed and have thought about putting everything on Facebook and Cheaterville.com to include his name, place of business, and the whole timeline, and then draft letters to his place of employment. But then again, I think it may be counterproductive. My oldest daughter tells me to leave them alone and let them implode and cave in on each other once reality sets in. One thing I know we did well is raising 2 smart young ladies. 4. I agree, she's an idiot, but I'm owning up to my faults. 5. It's scary because she's always been a mama's girl. Now she has turned her back on her. While I always remind her that she's still her mother and was a good mom, I can't help but to take some satisfaction. But it's a double-edged sword. I don't want my girls to hurt any more than they are, and that may mean I don't follow through with thoughts of revenge. Continue to work on me and my relationship with the girls and try to make peace and find forgiveness. And nowhere near that right now. 6. Her lawyer is an idiot but smart enough to point out to her that 1. She committed adultery and there is plenty of proof, and 2. She walked out of the house. Alimony stops on the 1st of January. $13.00 a month. She gets half of my retirement and free medical for life, and I honestly don't have a problem with that. I have been taking care of myself. Through this process I have dropped 20 pounds. I don't recommend this diet plan. It's funny, I have never cooked before, only grilled. Now my daughter and I are experimenting every night with new recipes that we have found online, in cookbooks, and from friends and family. I'm enrolling us in a cooking class next month. I think it's a nice father-daughter bonding experience. I also notice that I don't drink a glass or 2 of wine every night like I once did. It's a long story, but her father passed away in 2010, my mother passed away in 2011. And my father passed away in 2012. To say that I withdrew is an understatement. I thought this contributed to her leaving me, but she told me that she checked out of the marriage before that. I was devastated, but I am determined to deal with my grief. What they say is true. Divorce is like an ending. For me, it was worse. I didn't feel this bad when my parents passed away. I suppose it was because I thought she was there for me. It may make me sound weak and pathetic, but I didn't leave my bedroom for 2 days after she left me. I have never felt that low and sad and angry. Now, I'm starting to realize that I had severe codependency issues. I have been with her for half of my life. High school sweethearts, the only woman I've ever loved, the only woman I've ever been intimate with. Yada yada yada. I'm starting to separate myself from her, starting to find that I do have my own personal identity that is not tied to her. I am waking up. I know that the best revenge is living well. I also know that those who plot revenge need to dig 2 graves. I'm somewhere in the middle. I told her when we first moved up here that while I was sad that D16 would be moving out in 2 years, I was looking forward to it just being the 2 of us after all these years. She told me later that she actually dreaded that thought. She always had a way of kicking me when I was down. Now, I'm seeing that she needs me more than I need her. Update: STBX texted me this morning telling me that she and her lawyer were nice to me and that in reality, I owe her so much more. She said she stood behind me while I obtained my undergrad and 2 grad degrees. She's not working and has been going back to school full-time for nursing. I'm happy to say that I have not responded. She is coming over to pick D16 up on Saturday. I'll be in my new clothes ready to go out. It actually bothered her last Saturday. Small victories. Saturdays are visitation days with STBX and D16. I asked D16 what time her mom is coming to pick her up and she said she's not. She's going on a date night tonight. I asked her if her mom called. D16 said no. I saw it on FB. I walk away. I think about everything I'm supposed to be doing. So, I stay at 50,000. I don't text the 2 piece of crap sorry individuals. I do feel sorry for D16 even though she said she didn't want to go with her anyway. This saddens me. STBX is further dividing the rift between them. But I can't control it or try to fix it. This does help me think about the person that STBX has become. On paper we are still husband and wife. In reality, she stopped being my wife a long time ago. So, my anger has subsided. Before STBX gave me the "I love you but not in love with you" speech, she told me that during her past 6 months of counseling, her therapist helped her see that she was unable to forgive me for things in the past. Her sister even told me that she was having second thoughts on moving up here. Needless to say, I was crushed. The event that allowed her to build up resentment all these years happened in 1998. Her mother was diagnosed with leukemia in 1997 and had went through a round of chemo. We were home visiting for Christmas and split our time between 3 households: her parents, my mom's, and my dad's houses. We had spent up to Christmas Eve with her parents. D16 at the time was D4 months. When we stopped back by her parents' house to pick something up, her mother was sick from the chemo and was trying to do chores. STBX wanted to stay there and just visit my side during the day. I refused. My mother wanted to spend time with us and have us spend the nights there as well. 2 months later, STBX's mother passed away. I admitted that I was wrong, so wrong. I have begged her for forgiveness and tried to make up for that. That's one reason why I forgave her of her first affair in 24. I'm sorry to say that's what I did. I like to consider myself an alpha male, confident not arrogant, and fun to be around. It's sad when her siblings tell me that they don't know why I allowed her to berate me. I'm still trying to unravel that myself. My STBX had the audacity to say she wanted a separation to figure out her feelings. That she was confused. She wanted to do this while still dating OM. She said she wasn't sure she wanted to give up the life that we built, but she didn't think it was fair to me to not be the wife I deserve. I told her that she was right about not being fair, and I was not going to allow her to date OM and have me standing by for scraps. STBX calls D16 today to take her to lunch and give her the Valentine's Day presents she bought. Without a job, D16 tells her that she's too busy today. STBX is crying on the phone. D16 feels bad and said she will go out with her. I'm not looking forward to seeing STBX. Luckily, STBX picks her up in the driveway. On the way to the gym, I pass STBX and D16 in the neighborhood. I wave. STBX does not. When I get home from the gym, I ask D16 how the visit went. D16 said she didn't eat because she was still full of the breakfast we cooked this morning. D16 tells me that she hurt her mother's feelings. D16 made me a fantastic card. I love the card she makes me. She has done this since she was 5 years old. I still have the note she made me when she packed me a lunch when she was 10 years old. She learned this from me. I wrote her a poem named Daughter. She loves my homemade cards as well. STBX sees the card that D16 made me. STBX asks if D16 made her one. D16 says no. STBX storms out of the house crying. The old me would have tried to fix it, try to take the pain away. It's not my job. I do remind D16 that she's still her mother that loves her very much. D16 says if she loved me, she would not have chosen him over me on set. I don't know what to say. I'm taking her to my next IC. Update. Near the end of my trip, I send my new interest. I think I'll call her new GF. A text about my adventures. She responds, GF, thanks for the pictures. I am awful at selfies and I have been the one taking pictures on my trip. I was in the room for 2 minutes and took this pic for you. Not a great pic. On my way to dinner, I hope you had a great night. Me, I think the pic is fantastic. Thank you. My smile has not vanished. I look forward to our next date. I'll have to figure out some angle to steal a kiss. GF, AWWW. Thank you. I know. I have really been looking forward to our next date. Can't wait for it. And you don't need to steal one. You can have one. Me, you have made my night. Week. Hell, my smile is surgically implanted. GF, so, what night is good for you this weekend? Me, Friday or Sunday. I am going to my cousin's in Maryland on set. But if Sat is better for you, I will change my plans. GF, no, I don't want you to change plans. Fry should be good for me. I am doing my best to find a suitable date night plan for us. I have come across a few ideas. However, I am getting in late on wed night. D16 is okay with me dating and wants me to. I just feel guilty leaving her alone on the weekends. GF seems too good to be true. She's unlike STBX and that somewhat intrigues and scares me. It's nice not thinking about STBX. Still some work to go on me without committing to a relationship. I just do not want to hurt or string someone along. This is a rough part of the long, painful path. My life could already be made into a reality show. STBX and I are actually stepbrother and stepsister. Here's the story. STBX's mother passed because of cancer in 1998. My stepfather passed away in 1999. STBX's dad and my mom would travel together over the years to visit us wherever we lived. Nature took its course. STBX and I had been married for 9 years when her dad called me to ask permission for my mother's hand. They married in 23. Sadly, her dad passed away of a heart attack in 2010 and my mother passed away in 2011 of a heart attack. I can't make this stuff up. I was pleasantly surprised not to find any more decorations. Stuff removed during my last business trip. I did find out that STBX dropped out of her chemistry class. Other than that, it has been drama-free, for now. On another note, I made reservations at a quaint little Italian restaurant in DC. GF's favorite food is Italian. The reservations are later in the evening, giving us time to walk around. Afterwards, we're going to the Lincoln Memorial to sit on the steps. I'm looking forward to our date. It's funny, GF is a college football fan of my biggest rival. D16 texts STBX to see if they're still going out tonight. STBX tells her she just got out of school. She's not feeling well, and she's really tired. STBX asks D16 if they can do something tomorrow. D16 says it's fine, but I see she's disappointed. I'm not going to try to fix it. Last night's date with GF was fantastic. I asked her if she'd like to go on a picnic when the cherry blossoms are blooming, probably the first weekend in April. She said she'd love to, then asked if we can do something next weekend. I invited her over for movie night and grilling some steaks. I asked D16 if it was okay and she said she doesn't want to meet her. I'm a little surprised. D16 and D22 have both wanted me to date, but they both don't think I'm ready. I told them that, and I see, the therapist said it is not a bad idea as long as I have boundaries and not to rush into anything serious. She also said I've made amazing progress. I'm just a little disappointed, but I think that D16 may not be ready for me to date. STBX informed me a few weeks ago that her and other man are engaged with a wedding date in June when he turns 50. My response, congratulations. The divorce will not be final until December. Part of me wanted to be alone for a while before dating, but I know what I want in a person and why miss out on things. I deserve happiness. If she did come back flaunting her wares, which are quite good, all I have to remember is the hell she put me through, twice. I respect myself more than that. I had a talk with D16. I told her I'm ready to date and my therapist agreed, but I would never force her into meeting someone until she's ready. Today was date night with GF. The weather was crap, but the company was fantastic. I grilled a nice steak with some grilled potatoes and asparagus. While watching the first of our 2 movies, GF grabs my hand to let me know that she really enjoyed the dinner. We made out like teenagers. D16 came back home early from her and STBX's time out. D16 has been fighting with her boyfriend in Alabama, so she's been a little snippy. I'm glad that STBX didn't flip out when she saw another vehicle in the driveway. I haven't heard from her and I hope that I don't. Things could have progressed farther with GF, but I told her that I wanted our first time not to be rushed and without the fear of D16 catching us. Felt like a teenager. GF said she totally understood, but it was hard. No pun intended. I took down all of our pictures from the large picture frame collages that we had. I found myself still having a twinge of sadness, but I had a smile remembering the good times during those pictures. By no means am I completely healed, but I have accepted the fact that we will never be back together. I have also realized how irrational my thoughts were when I thought that I could never find someone again. What the hell was I thinking? There are so many different women out there. What I find surprising is how many different single, divorced women that STBX and I have known are reaching out to me during these times. Part of me still wants to smash other man's face in, but nowhere near as strong as it once was. I am now preparing for the inevitable that D16 will meet other man. That is going to hurt. Things are going great with GF. I asked her what her love language was during our date and she said that she wasn't sure since she never finished the test. Last night she told me she completed the test and hers were physical touch and quality time. We had a lunch date planned for tomorrow, but I had a schedule change and had to go today. She reworked her schedule to accommodate me. She printed out 3 different places to go for lunch and I asked her to choose. Without hesitation she did. Again, she hit the unlock automatically when I opened her door. I feel like I'm auditioning her, and I suppose to an extent I am. I do like the attention that she is giving me and I like the fact that she appreciates the attention I give her. We're going on a wine tasting tour with a meetup group in the area. It's a new day. Drama update. My stepmom called tonight upset that STBX and her other man have put pictures of the engagement ring on Facebook. To be honest, it stings a little, but it also shows the immaturity level of both of them. My response to my stepmom: I could not care less. My stepmom said she was worried about me getting upset and confronting both of them. I am not that man anymore. Today's dose of daily drama concerning STBX. While traveling today, I get a text from D16 telling me that her mom will not be able to take her to the airport because of school, and that she was fired from her job for being too slow. I was already prepared for this contingency. I called a friend of mine and he will be taking D16 to the airport tomorrow. I have not heard from STBX. I did hear from GF. I had flour, chocolate delivered to her work today. She said that she had been thinking about me all day when she was pleasantly surprised by the flowers. We are going hiking when I get back in 10 days and she said she can't wait. We're also going to a concert the beginning of May. I canceled a date that I had with another lady for when I got back. I know I should date more, and perhaps I will, but I really enjoy my time with GF. I'm confused. I'm not falling for GF, but I also don't want to see others right now either. Is this normal? My trip was cut short. Prague is a beautiful city. Since D16 is in Alabama visiting, I thought I would see if GF was available to go out. I told her I'd pick her up again and have a picnic and catch the remaining cherry blossoms. She said it sounded great. When I got back on Thursday, she asked what my plans were for Fry. I told her nothing and she said her D was going to be gone until Sunday. So, I picked her up on Fry and spent the entire weekend with her, which was great, but he said that she is not dating anyone else during this time and asked me if that freaked me out. I told her no. My concerns: I don't want to hurt her but I want to still date other women. I'm going to tell her at lunch on Thur. We have plans to go hiking on Sat and then going to a concert on May 3rd. There is another lady that has captured my attention and we've been talking a little. I just don't want to rush into anything, and I want to enjoy the company of women. I never really dated before and there are so many out there. I was a fool to think I'd never be happy again. My self-esteem is coming back and so is my swagger. A month later, things are going well with me and GF. We went to an all-day concert on Set. She does the small things that mean a lot. Pours my coffee during breakfast at the restaurant. After I open the door for her, she hits the automatic unlock button. My truck doesn't have automatic door lock. She satisfies my physical touch love language. Like she likes to hold hands, touches my arm when we talk, rubs the back of my head when we're sitting close. There are so many positives about her that STBX hardly ever fulfilled. I haven't seen or heard STBX's voice in over 3 months. STBX's last attempt to push my buttons was a text telling me when she was going to be unavailable to watch D16. One of those times is when she knows that I'll be out of town and has planned other man's birthday. Of course, the separation agreement explicitly says she will stay with D16 when I am on business trips. STBX is going to Alabama next week and D22 has told her that if she mentions the wedding or other man during that time she will no longer be allowed to stay there. I have to admit, that does bring me some satisfaction and hurts a little too. This past weekend, STBX was doing schoolwork all day Saturday and could not visit with D16. She called yesterday and asked D16 if she could take her to dinner and D16 said no. She was busy helping me in the yard and had other plans later. STBX started crying and telling D16 that she felt unloved and was trying to give D16 a guilt trip. I talked with D16 and told her that it was her choice whether to visit or not, but reminded her that her mother loves her and not to be mean because of what she did to me. I'm happier than I've been in a long time. I have a date with a Brazilian lady on Friday, but I think I may stop dating other women besides GF. I'm falling for her, but I'm not going to admit it to her. I'm trying to go back to 50,000 feet and just enjoy getting to know her. While she hasn't told me, I know she's fallen for me too. How could she not? My primary love language is physical touch, with acts of service being a close second. GF's are physical touch and quality time. We satisfy each other's love language. I knew I was starving for mine and had repeatedly expressed that to STBX, but it fell on deaf ears. When I was doing yard work on Sunday, D16 brought me a bottle of water. I was proud of her for doing that and told her so. Her response: I thought you would be thirsty and I love you. Update: this past weekend was interesting. D16 came home on Sat after a visit with STBX and told me that she does not want to visit with her anymore. I asked her why and she said because she will not stop pressuring her into meeting other men and demanding that D16 commits to the wedding. I text STBX, you need to get it through your thick skull that D16 does not want to meet your piece of crap. STBX, you need to mind your own business. If the girls love me, then they will include other man in their lives because he's an important part of mine. You are as classy as ever. Me? Class? Like being engaged while you're still married. You are too stupid to see how classless you really are. STBX, we aren't married anymore, read the separation agreement. Me? I can't believe how stupid you really are. You and other men deserve each other. That being said, the harder you push that piece of crap on them, the harder they will resist. D22 gets involved and her and STBX have words. STBX cancels her trip to visit D22 because D22 told her that if she talks about other man or the wedding that she is not welcome. I talk to GF. GF asks me point blank if I'm ready for a relationship. She asks if I am truly ready to move on past STBX. I am. I have no desire to reconcile but can't help to feel anger for how I was treated. GF tells me that other man is not the problem. It was STBX. She understands my anger, but to move on I need to let it go. I text STBX the next morning that life is too short and she needs to go spend time with D22. She did go and is down there now. D22 told me that STBX is talking about other man and wants the girls to meet him. I have to admit, I'm still angry. A part of me still wants to pound his face in. But I feel something with GF that I haven't felt in a long time. I just want to be sure that this isn't a rebound relationship. I am taking my time, but we spend a lot of time talking, texting on the phone, go to lunch once or twice a week together and spend a day or two together on the weekends. This Sat we are going sailing and on Sun we are going to play volleyball, then coming back to my place to grill. D16 will be meeting GF for the first time this weekend. A little nervous about that. I scheduled and I see for next Tuesday to discuss what's going on. People at work and the girls have noticed that I am much happier. And I am. I miss STBX, but I don't miss how she treated me. While I wasn't perfect, I was a good husband. Provider divided by. She told me that she could never ask for a more romantic guy. I told STBX that I wanted to talk to her and other man when she got back from visiting D22. I hope that it's the right choice. Update. STBX's visit with D22 started off good, but inevitably the drama had to happen. And I somewhat started it. D16 and I were making pizza and I noticed that the pizza stone and other items were missing. D16 wasn't aware that her mother had taken them. I was a little ticked off. I did find out that I was leaving for a trip in June requiring STBX to stay with her. STBX texted me back that she already had plans on the 2nd for other man's birthday. She then called. I answered and told her that IAW with the separation agreement that she would stay with D16. STBX, the idiot that she is, told me that's not what she meant when she agreed. I told her that she would stay or I would take her to court and file on fault grounds. She then let loose expletives that would have made a sailor blush and hung up on me. D22 called and said that they were at dinner and STBX was making a scene in the restaurant and walked out. D22 was furious and told me that she wished that STBX never came to visit and wanted her to leave. D16 was mad at me for making her mother come and visit. I was saddened by these events. The next day, STBX apologized to D22. I told D22 that it was a good sign because STBX rarely apologizes over anything. But then D22 was ticked again because during lunch with some of her old co-workers, STBX was bragging about other man and the wedding. One of STBX's old co-worker questioned the timing on the wedding and could not believe that we were splitting up. Her friend told STBX that she thought she was making a big mistake by leaving me. STBX was furious. GF and I went sailing on Sat and played volleyball on Sun. The weekend was fantastic. Besides the fact that my girls are upset, I could not care less about STBX's actions. I'm so much better off without her in my life. The sun is shining bright here and so is my mood these days. I feel alive and it's fantastic. GF knows all the details. It's good and bad. Good because GF has lent her ear and shoulder. I promise to be honest with her. Bad because it's a lot of drama. GF, understandably, wants to make sure that I'm ready for a relationship. She thinks that STBX may wake up one day and want me back. I reassure her that there is no way that would ever happen. D16 met GF for the first time this weekend. It was a short introduction, but it was cordial and not awkward. D16 is having trouble with her boyfriend and that is presenting problems of their own. Update. The trip back home was short and sweet. No new drama on the front concerning STBX. GF asked again whether I was planning on dating. I was hesitant and told her that I wanted to make sure I wasn't rushing into a relationship too fast. I have gone out with 6 other women, but GF is the one that I really enjoy spending time with. GF told me that she's falling for me. It made me feel good, but it scared me at the same time. Life is great. My comment, OP is doing great. Let's see if he continues. Part 2 ending coming today as well. Hope you guys are appreciating this positive story. And I'll be back with the ending really soon.